Hey YouTube, what's going on today? It's Fish and Pips back with another stream. Now I know I didn't stream since Wednesday, and we'll kind of go over my decision for that, um, and why I didn't stream. Obviously, the title of it is analyzing the previous week and the weeks to come, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll kind of be looking at what happened this week and what we think is going to happen in the next few weeks. Now, being completely honest, since Wednesday, there really was no opportunities. Um, at least in my books, right? I can't say that for everybody, but for a trader who trades a specific setup, right? Break of market structure and a retest to a price gap, there was none of that. It was more or less, London set the play and New York kind of just kept running, or there was some type of manipulation in New York, in regards to, false breakout, stop hunt, whatever it may be. I just felt like it was necessary to just stay off. And there was really no reason to stream that, because I'm not gonna get on and try to make up things that are happening in the markets. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. You know what I mean? Um, and that was all across the board. That was GU, EU, and GJ. Now maybe today, looking over um what has happened last week, maybe we can sit there and say, okay, maybe there was opportunities. Um, we just didn't see them at the time. Um, Now I took away my face cam for this video just so we can look at the chart for its entirety, kind of see what happened. Let's start with GBP USD on the H1. Right now, if you remember last week for GBP USD, we were sitting right about above this weekly low, right? And so this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, right? So Tuesday was the last day we streamed, and we were right above, right above or in between this weekly low, and we wanted to see it to draw down to this low, right? This low here. Um, and by the way, my yellow lines are derived as weeklies, and my orange lines are derived of monthlies. So we saw it get here, and cool. We got a pullback, so maybe you could have bought, but this is really just another opportunity again for the sell. Ultimately, what I wanted to see for the past few weeks is for price to get down to this monthly low, right? And if you look left of that monthly low, there's a low there. So it's equal, right? And price is most likely going to always want to draw to those lows. If you look at the weekly, you can see it there. Every time you see me post on Instagram, or even when we're just charting, and talking about trades during sessions, I'm always looking for relatively equal lows or equal highs. That's a concept that I derived from ICT, and that's all credit due to him. But these are where buy orders and sell orders are, right? So there's sell limits here for people who want to get in when the market breaks below. Um, so we're mostly going to see price draw below that, right? There's going to be people who, when price breaks below, they're going to want to get in for sells. So what is the market going to do? Stop hunt that low, activate those orders, and ride up, knocking those people out. So that's ultimately what I want to see for GU. And we did reach that objective of getting to that low here. Now let's see if there was actually any opportunities. And we'll start with Monday, right? So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday here. Boom. Now these black lines are the open and closes of the previous week. And when we chart up the new week, I'll show you guys how I do this. But this is the open and close of last week. And you can see how price for the week kind of came right into it, right? I know zone traders would probably have a zone here, and yeah, you probably would have caught that sell if that's your style. Um, but this happened on Sunday, right? Sunday, we got in here, came up to the open, and kind of just ran for the races. From an H1 perspective, right? From an H1 perspective, the only possible opportunity that I see in terms of break of structure and a retest to a gap is here. Okay. Um, Reason being, we broke this, right? We broke the weekly low. We have a gap here, and we retested to it. If I took a fib from that first impulse push down to the swing low, we come right up into the 70 fib. Right up to the 70 fib into that gap and completely melted. Okay. So that's the only opportunity from an H1 perspective that I see, right? It's something we would have had to wait for and kind of capitalize on it. Another potential opportunity that I, could see at this point in time is okay, we've broken structure and we also have a gap here, right? Price comes up, doesn't fill it, but it comes up to it. Now, this is a trade I probably wouldn't have taken. And even just looking at this and pointing it out, it's kind of a stretch. This is probably the only one that I actually like. Reason being is because we have a series of momentum candles coming down with some gaps left down. We broke some clear market structure, and it's just a matter of waiting for that retest, which we got. Now I know a lot of people probably gonna say, "Well, Josh, why didn't you put your fib from this swing high to this swing low?" And that's perfectly fine. Um, it's just when you have an extended leg like this, and I guess you're looking for I don't know, a scalp per se, you can take it from that impulse leg, that leg that kind of starts the move, majority of the move, right? We're kind of choppy here, and then we just get that straight push down, right? So you want to capitalize on that retracement because most likely a lot of the liquidity is in this move down, which it is, right? So yeah, we get the fib in. So let's look from a scalping perspective, only New York sessions, to see if we had anything. Go back to Monday. Here's Monday, right? Okay. What do we see? Market structure here, market structure here, and market structure here. 3 market structure breaks, correct? We break it in this one impulse move down. 1 second, guys. Alright, sorry about that. My dogs were going crazy. Um, so we break 3 areas of market structure. Now this is late in New York session. This is probably about like I want to say 10 about 11 o'clock. So I probably would have been off the charts by then. I'm always looking for something around bond open. But this is type of manipulation, right? Because granted, bond open really gave no trade, right? Bond open's 9:30. We got no type of trade. But what do we have? 3 areas of market structure break and a price gap. Okay. Now that's the gap for its entirety, but we can take from this wick. We can adjust it for this wick. Um, And if we split that gap in half, 50% of that gap, we pull right into it. If we fib this, we get right to the 70 fib in a price gap with 3 areas of market structure. All right. So that's the first opportunity I see right on Monday, right off the gates. A little late, but it's still New York session. Just would have required some patience there. Let's get rid of this. On to Tuesday. Now this is what I'm talking about, right? There was London set the play and New York kind of just like ran off, right? There was no opportunities at all. I don't see any, right? Um, clear breaks of market structure, but no real retest to gaps. Um, unless you want to consider this. Then again, that is super late in the session and you're not really getting much. Wednesday, nothing again. This is the manipulation I'm talking about, right? But look at this, right? This is that H1 gap that we were talking about in terms of waiting for a break of market structure. H4 actually shows it a lot cleaner, right? Break of market structure. Here's our gap, the only gap, right? And guys, if you're questioning what gaps are, if you see a candle and the wick on the left and the right aren't touching, like almost every other candle is, right? That's a gap in price. And you see how price comes right up into it and drops. So from a 5 minute perspective, right? From a 5 minute perspective, you can see the manipulation, right? They set the highs here. This is most likely divergent, and this is exactly why I don't use the relative strength index anymore. Um, it's one of those things that you can kind of just tell that it's divergent when it's close to an area of liquidity like this. People would say this is a three push divergence, and it indeed is, right? Um, 23 pips, that's cool, but I know where people are most likely targeting. London stops, yesterday's low, right? Asia mid. Does it get there on this first push? No. It comes right back up, taking people out into that gap and runs off. Is this something I probably would have taken? I honestly probably not. Because then again, we're up in this gap. I would have to wait for some type of break of market structure and a retest to a gap. And the only thing that fits that criteria is cool. We break these lows here. Only retest to a gap is here in Asia, right? Or mid Asia. We break this low, retest right into the gap, and you just ride it out. Thursday. Okay, Thursday was actually pretty clean. And maybe I should have been on the charts, but I just didn't even give it a chance to look at from just how trash it was looking at just momentum. And price really just went straight shot for GU. You know what I mean? It was just straight down, didn't really give any chances. But Thursday, New York, okay, here's the lows. We break the lows. We have a gap here, and we retest to it. I think that's a perfectly fair setup. But then again, this is at like almost 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like 8 to 12 on the charts and kind of just waiting for something that can get kind of nerve-wracking. But we come up to the 62. Stop loss could have been above here. It's about 14, 15 pips. That's perfect for me. And it goes significant. You know, it goes for a good amount of pips. And then Friday was just a complete shit show. There was nothing Friday. And that's typical. That's gonna happen a lot on Fridays. That's really why I don't like to trade on Fridays. Um, but clear consolidation across the board. Uh, they set the high, they set the low here, and they really didn't move anywhere in price. So now let's look at GU and what we could expect for the new week. First things first, I'm going to look at the monthly, and I'm going to establish the previous monthly highs and lows. So here's our previous month. We're going to look over the candle. We have 39,830 as our high. And guys, I mean, this video, you're getting exactly what I do. And then our low, 35,716. That's our monthly range, right? And I'm going to drag this low out because it's equal to that high. So I really want to see those get attacked. Now looking at the previous week, right? So obviously this week has ended. So this would be our new weekly range. I like this because it gives us more of a range to capitalize on. Now, if you notice what has happened the past 3 weeks, price has failed to make a new high, right? Kind of just kept stepping down here. We got the manipulation, stop hunt these highs, and clear sell momentum here in the market, which can give us a clear direction as to where the market is most likely to go. Here, these lows, right? And if they want to continue to break that, which is, I think, would be crazy if they do, we would just keep looking at next lows to target, right? We would just, okay, if this wants to go lower, cool, we'll look here. If this wants to go lower, cool, we'll look here. We'll look here. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Um, but going back, since this week has already ended, this would be our new weekly range. So we're going to go ahead and look at the open. Now with this, with the weekly candles, you want to take the open and the close as well as the high and the low. And we saw last week how price kind of started off on Monday within that open and close, right? They're extremely liquid. So the open is 38,560. Okay. And we're gonna make these kind of a gold color. Actually no. The opens and closes will make black. Okay. Our high is 38,782. make these yellow. Our low here is 36,018. And the close is 36,220. So that's our week, right? This is the area in which we expect to operate in within the week. And you can form setups around this, whether it be waiting for price to reach either the highs, the lows, open and closes, and only taking um, setups off of those because they're pretty much zones. If we drop down to the H4, they're zones, right? Um, including the month, right? It's just a cleaner way rather than having a million boxes going, like this, just to show an example, because this is how it used to be. Or here, or here, or here, right? Like, there's really no focus in doing that. But when you narrow it down to very simple and effective, I would say, areas of where price is most likely to go, right? You have a clean page, clean book, and okay, I want to see it get to either one of these areas. Um, so just looking at GU now and the momentum that it has, clearly I want to see it get to this monthly low. And like we talked about earlier, I would like to see it kind of give a stop on here to activate those sell orders because people are going to sell or people already have sell limits there for when price breaks below. I want price to kind of activate those orders and then just yank up, stopping them all out. Um, which I think we can do. I think it's very possible. Um, but we'll just have to see, right? Like I said, if in the event that price just wants to keep going lower, then so be it. We'll just keep looking at these lows, right? We'll look at these lows as possible areas for price to turn around. Um, and I mean to add to that, let's kind of look at dollar because dollar has already breached this yearly high, right? We got up to the yearly high. This could possibly end as the stop point here. Um, we'll just have to wait and see, but that's really that's the area that I wanted to see for a potential turnaround for dollar. Um, mm, I I already have a feeling it's kind of already divergent. Yeah. See, like it's a prime selling market, I think. If we can break down, I think like to really get us in a bearish mode, we have to break like down here. But we're at the yearly high. Like we've reached that liquidity that I think is all the dollar really needed. Um, and if we're being honest, for living in the States, like it makes no sense why the value dollar is going up so much. Um, it just doesn't. We're not doing that good. But yeah, that's my outlook for GU. That's how I mark, and this is it. Um, if I'm looking for okay, where would price most likely want to like come back to for entries? Um, if we start to pull back, I'll be looking here at this gap. If I really want to fine tune it, I'll just align it with these wicks here. That is the true gap in price, where we can see price kind of come up and kind of do its thing. Um, and obviously we could look here, but it's just too close to where price is, so that's kind of low probability to see price kind of just come up here and yank down like that. Um, I'd rather see a deeper pullback, and just looking at that on a fib, that's like right at the 70. So that'd be a perfect spot to kind of just we get that retest and come right back down. Euro dollar. Now I'm not gonna go over setups as far as this. Like for the week, really don't care about it. GU is really my bread and butter. But like we talked about, I wanted to see EU come to this yearly low because we failed to get to it. And this is a prime example of when price is close to your levels, you should raise questions because 2 weeks ago, price was about 2 pips close to the yearly low, or less than a pip, and it ran up, right? So I even posted on Instagram, EU's going lower. We never touched the yearly low. And sure enough, starting Monday, price straight shot to the yearly low. Now I wanted to this could be the stop hunt, right? We could see it's already kind of turning around. Um, I really wanted to see it stop on a dime at 1700, but we didn't get there. And well, we got there. We surpassed it. We kind of got more than we needed. So now we'll see. I mean, liquidity has fully been washed, for what I know. Um, as far as okay, we got the yearly low. Now what? Obviously we could go down here, right, to these lows, and there's no problem with that. But for the year, we've kind of already washed our liquidity. Um, I can already probably tell we're divergent. Divergent, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, as far as my eyes for dollar and euro, we kind of already got what we needed. Um, you know what I mean? Now it's just waiting and seeing. Um, but let's do the same. Do I trade indices? I look at U30, US30 from here to there. When Funding Talent did their little thing of you couldn't trade indices, that's when I kind of stopped. But I only traded US30 about like 4 times, and it was only when price made a new high. When price made a new high, that's when I was interested because it was clear that every time US30 made a new high, it kind of sold off a little bit. Um, so as far as euro goes in the previous month, right? This is the previous month. This is the current month. Previous month, we've already rated the monthly low to go where? Here, right? Um, so let's look at the week because I think we can kind of turn around here at these yearlies. So for the week, this would be our current week. And we're going to fine tune this. Our high is 18,005. Six six three six. And we want our open and closes. Let's make this yearly low a different color. Let's make it blue. Just so we can differentiate what the open and closes are. Open is 17,931. It seems like a lot of work, but when you do it for so long, you can do it really quick. And the close is 16,991. Was it? 16,991, yep. They closed kind of right at the institutional level for the week. Said they closed kind of right at 1700. So now this would be kind of the range in which we'd be operating in for euro, right? Um, I would like to see it get above this open and go for these highs, ultimately this monthly, just given the context of what we already have done. Um, we're divergent. We rated the yearly low. Dollar did the same as well. Um, so I expect bearish dollar, bullish EU, bullish GU from this point. I think we'll just get a little bit of a lag with GU. I think it would really want to finish off down here. But EU, I think it's ready to kind of do what it wants, what it has to do. Um, Obviously, if we get back down, which this is another scenario I could see. I know I'm saying a lot, but these lows are relatively equal, and we're at a weekly. Um, Granted, we could come up off this close, right? Because there's the area liquidity. What's possible is another stop hunt here to stop these people out, and then long. But from this point, we'll just have to wait and see. I truly think it's ready though. Yeah, that's really I think we're ready for it. Um, I'll mark these out. All right, like this is another area if we do go lower. If we do go lower, we can possibly see that. Um, and obviously, if it really wanted to, I mean, we do have a gap here. Like from a higher time frame perspective, there is, and granted, this is the monthly chart, but we do have a gap here, and we could fib this. You know what I mean? And we could sit there and say price does want to go lower, but we have to take it week by week to see what it's going to truly do. I used to really sit on like the monthly and be like, oh, there's gaps here, price will more than likely go there. It just takes a really long time. Um, so I like to operate within the week and the daily just to kind of see like what is current price doing, where could we most likely go, and operate like that. Um, and I feel like that's really helped over the time. Um, let's see. Let's look at GJ. This is the last but not least GJ. So last week I said GJ will most likely draw to this gap. It did on Wednesday. Price got to 50% of the gap, ran up 116 pips, but then continued short. So this gap is now invalid. Um, we got these lows here, same as GU, right? Where we have these lows, um, and price is most likely at this point going to want to draw down to those lows. So I think any type of trade for for GU or GJ for the week, if we're not at those lows yet, is any type of retest and shorts to this low, right? Only looking for shorts until I get to this low. I'm not looking long otherwise, except for EU, because we've already gotten to where we need to go. GU and GJ, we have not, right? I think we can get to these lows, and then we can start looking for some bullish pressure. Um, and yeah, like we already had the weekly marked out. I mean, the weekly and monthly levels marked out, but we dragged this out. We got equal lows there. That's the month. And let's kind of get rid of these here and look at the week. So we got the open is 151.952. The high is 152.203. The low is 149.182. And the close is 149.560. So this is the range, once again, that we could operate in for the week. This low and this close. I really want to see price draw down to these lows. So if I'm looking for any type of trade, it would be retest to this gap, fibbing this. This is hotspot in the gap here, 70.62.79. Continuing short. It's the only way I'll take a trade. Because at that point, right, we've broken this low, we get the retest and continue. And this method of using the weeklies and monthlies, highs and lows, works for any pair. And backtest for yourself, it works every time. When price is at those levels, you're going to get some type of reaction. And it keeps it clean, it keeps it simple, um, and it's effective nonetheless. Um, but yeah, guys, that's really all I'm seeing for the week. This is really a rundown of what I do every weekend. Come to the charts, identify what has happened last week, um, what could we see for the weeks to come, framing out the weekly and the monthly levels, and basing off of that, as far as where is price most likely going to go at this point. Um, Actually, I think one more thing I want to mention here for GJ is I find it really interesting how these highs are kind of just sitting there really nicely. So that would be a really nice attacking point. From down here, that would be a nice target for sure. Um, but yeah, go ahead, test it out. You know what I mean? Go to the weekly, go to the monthly, frame out those levels and blow your mind and give yourself a cleaner way of looking at the charts. Because a lot of people do ask me, how can I keep my charts clean? And this is exactly how. Like you see zero zones, um, and it's for what it is. Like it's straight up price, and those are the levels I want to see. It's less confusion and it's simple. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. I didn't post anything on Instagram saying that I was gonna do this. So if you're on here, I appreciate you because you definitely have your post notifications on, and I appreciate that. Just make sure you leave a like, comment what you want to see. Um, once again, if you guys join my Discord, you can post. If you join my Discord, you can post your charts on here. We could talk about it. Um, it's a great community. It's building up by the day. So I hope to see you guys there. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy with the family. Spend time on the charts and come into the next week with a crystal clear mind. See you guys all. Thank you.